If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twist it by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Do not go gentle into that good night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know dark is right. Because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And with that, we continue a couple of more minutes of the daily Kaupenjoes. Those were, I think, 3 of my favorite poems. I have a couple of others, but I think those were some of my favorite ones. I genuinely, If by Rudyard Kipling is probably a poem I recite to myself a lot of times, because it is simply one of those things that is just, it is the essential, in my opinion, it is the essential condensation. Like it condenses into 4 paragraphs of a poem, the perfect structure of the life of a man. I genuinely think that is the case. It is. I think I could probably break this like entire poem down in like a 30-minute lecture. Maybe I'm gonna actually do that at some point. I feel like at this point I've taken a couple of days of work just, and I have made some striking discoveries, let's say, within myself and just in general, that we're going to share, and let's see if those are important or interesting or useful, right? One or all of those would be totally fine. So one thing that was quite interesting to me is that so usually it is said that idle hands are the devil's playthings, and usually I agree with this. However, I have been struggling the last couple of weeks with staying on target and staying productive. And the way that this manifests is, let's say I have 6 to-dos every day. And what happens is that, first of all, I delay the first to-do because I'm like, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to stay in bed for a while, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay. And so I delay the first to-do, and it's like, I get up way too late. It's stupid. Doesn't make any sense. Then what happens is I get one of those to-dos done, maybe 2, maybe 3, and the rest is just, I spend just mindlessly scrolling or just watching videos that don't even do anything, or just wasting time in general. And so what I said is, you know what? I have been doing this for weeks now. Yes, I'm still moving a little bit forward because obviously I was still doing a couple of to-dos, which is fine. But I was like, you know what? This is stupid. It doesn't make any sense to continue to do this. I need to figure out a different way. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a couple of days off where I'm going to say, listen, I'm actually going to do nothing, right? I specifically, my to-do is to do nothing. I think I told this before, but I think I said this at the beginning of the vacation time in another yap. And it is very interesting because I have been, I don't even know, I've not filled this many pages in my journal in a long time because I was too focused on doing things and just I don't know, like just losing myself in the work that I was doing. Meanwhile, I had so many different things that I was thinking about and looking at, and that I could, I don't know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I have sort of thought about a lot of different concepts that we rarely talk about, that sort of a little bit go into the same thing that If does, the Rudyard Kipling poem. It's I said that we don't talk about these things like honor and courage sometimes, but not too much. Wisdom. We talk a lot about justice, but that's probably all of it. And I think that we are actually misapplying justice in this case. But regardless, I thought about these stories and these things, and I looked at all sorts of different things. I got a couple of quotes here. Who sows virtue reaps honor. And I think sometimes, a couple of people, sometimes we are clouded by what is honor. And I think that, man, I really sort of like, I've this like great paths laid out in front of me. And it is always the case that when I step back and I start to relax myself, let's say, and I say, listen, sometimes we have to just step back and just don't do these to-dos that just, they have no specific deadline, right? It's like, if I do this today or next week, it doesn't matter that much. And what I found is that when I let myself do that, then all of a sudden, instead of this like one narrow path that I'm like, I have to follow this path, I have to do this, all of a sudden, everything, like this path, it reveals itself that the roots and the trees and the brushes next to it, they were not there at all. And within those brushes and trees and forests, there's multiple different paths that I could go. And this like multiplicity of paths is both scary and unbelievably exciting, because it sort of tells you, listen, you can go into any of these directions and you can just see what's going to happen. So I don't know. We're definitely going to continue the daily yaps. However, I'm considering even changing up the format a little bit, or just doing something completely different. I don't even know, because at this point I have so many different ideas. I need to sort of condense them into. This is the issue with the many paths, right? Because obviously, if you have 100 paths in front of you, you can't walk 100 paths, but you can walk the one that is sort of parallel to a lot of others, right? So going down one path will include sort of sub-paths of others, or you can make a detour here or there. That's totally fine. Life is not a straight line. Life is never a straight line, right? And that's what is exciting. If it was a straight line, how boring life would be. there you go. That's it for now. I once again don't know exactly where we're at, but we're finishing, or we're going towards the end over here. Hope you found this interesting, useful, or all of the above, and talk to you again tomorrow. Until then.